right. Let's do this. As the black pieces responding to d4, we play c5. And by c5, I mean f5. No matter what, you play knight f6 following that. They're developing quite slowly. Feel like you've made a poor decision, my friend. We will play d6. Really? That's weird. So now we can't really push this because they get a pawn in the capture. Although I guess we would take their queen and stop them from castling. Take? No, they would take my queen and stop me from castling. So then we'll play knight to c6. They may push to d5. They did push to d5. At which point, we'll go here. And if they want to trade a bishop for a knight in exchange for my pawn structure, it is what it is. Certainly a weird start. I feel like this is not as good for them as they seem to think it is. I don't really want to block my bishop in. So I'm like, this, what does this accomplish? Then maybe they play that. Then I take this. Let's see how they feel about it. This is a weird start. Okay. Unless I've made some kind of colossal error, this seems fine to me. I would be happy to trade my advanced knight for their white bishop. It kind of feels like this guy's playing on tilt already. Of course, they got to defend this spot still. Maybe we'd rather just amp up the pressure, right? Like, there's no reason we have to move this knight. Yes, there is. It'll get taken if we don't. So take here. Yeah, I don't mind that. And then you look at this and you go, okay, hold up. What if I go knight to here? Obviously, we got a fork there. Don't necessarily want to take the bishop, but we love having this square available as well. We just need to make sure. So if I do knight to here, what I'm worried about is queen here. We could still do the fork, but then, of course, it's not even checkmate. I'm thinking about this diagonal right here. Yeah, I think we totally do this. Why not take the undefended pawn? Because their queen would take my knight because it's defended. I don't mean to be smarmy. I'm just saying. So I think it's still kind of like a screwed up position. But I don't mind this. Take. And then just like reinforcing this diagonal basically. Like this is going to be a funky game, but we're not going to be able to move our knight after that. We got plenty of time to think about it. So let's think about priorities. This is a terrible move because of the diagonal attacking the rook. So castling queenside might be the ideal way to go here. You know, I think we take the bishop. Although this is so valuable, man. The thing is, I don't want to take the bishop and leave him the knight to develop. But it is controlling a lot on this diagonal. Yeah, I'm okay with it, I think. Now that I look at it, I think I'm fine with it. And then we worry about where you're going here. I think we get this bishop is going to have a super strong diagonal. We got the bishop pair. Okay, that turns out maybe actually dumb. I mean, we don't lose the bishop or the rook, I should say. We just do this instead. But I mean, I asked to get weird. Here we are getting weird. I feel like I don't mind this still. I don't really want to trade bishop for knight. I think I love the idea of this situation right here. Like this pin on the king. I don't really care where you're going, to be honest with you. Even if you go here, I don't care. We will move our queen, but you take this bishop, we pin your knight. Actually, it would be sick if he did this. I do this. He takes the bishop, we pin the queen. Oh, he's going for it, man. I still think we force this. He can do knight to here, but then we do queen to here. He'll do like that. But it still leaves us in what I would describe as a good position. And the queen is still stuck here, like. And you know what? I don't mind this at all. I think this is a powerful position. If we castle, our rook goes here. Makes that a much more dangerous move for us. Obviously, we could take the pawn. I think we got to do something else. It's just like, hold on, if we do this and you go here. I'm not totally sure I care. Just making sure I'm dead center in the frame again. I guess like I want to do something that's kind of faster, I suppose, than everything else I'd considered. I'm not worried about h7. It's a pawn, but I think we can do better. What I am worried about is this knight getting in here. There's not much we can do to stop it. I go here, rook goes here. This obviously is a fork on this and this. We move this rook to the only spot in which it can go. Then we get ready to move this bishop out. Let's see. Let's see. It still seems fine to me. Okay, so we were playing... Oh, you know what? It's kind of... No, it's still fine. I'm seeing if there might be like a gimmick here somewhere. But I don't think there is. We have to do this. Even if they... if they take this... Take, check, take. They get pawn, bishop, queen. I get knight, queen, pawn, if they did that. It would be interesting for sure. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves, though. I don't think anybody can deny it. I mean, this is a really good spot for this knight to be. I think everybody would agree with that. I mean, I prefer his position, to be honest. I don't know how we're going to get that out of there. That knight is like, it's a real pain in my neck here. Because I want to push this pawn, too. I feel like we could do... Time's going to be tight here. Time is going to be tight here. It's going to sound... But it's so good that this knight can't move. But I don't have anything else I'd rather do right now. That's the problem. I don't know. I don't even mind that much. We're getting pinched on time, for sure. There's no doubt about that. I would rather he took me there. I don't know. I'm kind of like maybe this to protect this pawn. Again, it's more of a time crunch than anything else. Okay, strong move. I think at this point we pretty much have to do that. Which is fine. Honestly, that bishop was like worse than trash. So I don't really mind that. But our king's a little bit hemmed in. I'm not sure if this has been noticed. Let's put some pressure on this and maybe start doing like a little pseudo pawn storm here. Okay. We knew something like this was likely en route. I'm just trying to think. If he does like queen here, let's assume he takes, No, we would be up so much. We would just let his knight stay there. Not a big deal at all. Dude, I want that knight out of there so freaking bad. I think we gotta like get our queen somewhere. How are we gonna get this knight out of here? This is like the only way I see it. Is like, go ahead. Our bishop's doing nothing, and his knight is like official OG status. Let's get this file opened up. Is this why he prefers playing chess for YouTube instead of Twitch? There's a part of it is like you get a lot of backseats that have no elo behind them, so they'll suggest things like, you know, why didn't you do this? And you're like, oh, because I would have lost instantly. But then there's like a secondary aspect for sure that is like people don't know what they're looking at, so they just complain about your clock management the whole time. Those are two big ones. I don't know. Maybe you're going for this. I would love to trade with you right now. This night, I would love to trade. I guess you would just take that, though. Or you will just take that, I should say. Okay, but at least like it's more open now. We do have clock problems. Like, I'm not going to deny the clock problems. I think that was a truly terrible move from White. A Lum quadruple 8, thank you for the gifted subscriptions. Thank you. Why not check? You know what? I'm just gonna. You might be right. We'll talk about it in the analysis, but I need a more specific move than that before I either go pog or I'm upset. We're not gonna worry about that right now. All right, we're up by 8. That's really good. This is a strong game. White played so weird in this one. Like right from the opening, they just harassed me. Oh, they resigned. Okay, it was a good game. Obviously, like I'm not surprised we got a blunder in there, but meant rook to g4, or like rook to f4. Would they had a queen on d4? They would just take me, right? I don't know, man. 55% accuracy versus 71. I am surprised to see White was leading by 3 right here. Obviously, when they blundered, that things changed. They also like White's position right here. But I'm here to tell you, I guarantee they did not want them to do f4. This move cost them like a pawn, even though it says it's good. I'm surprised they didn't want them to do this and double up on the pawns. Like, how do they like this position? Well, they think black has an advantage here. Never mind. Shows what I know. Wait, oh, yeah, no, that's right. So playing as them, that wouldn't have been a smart play. Okay, so let's look at this opening. Book move, standard, pretty standard, really. They don't like this, though. Probably because it just falls victim to that, I suppose. What do they prefer here? Oh, they want you to switch into like a pseudo Leningrad or something? Is that what it's called? I don't know. I just know the sound it makes when it takes a man's life. So he gives up a lot of advantage here. I love our knight being in this position. They're like, what are you doing? And then they love that move. And then they thought that was fine. But yeah, okay, taking the free pawn probably makes more sense and reinforces the knight and threatens their better bishop. Okay. They think we're up by 3 right now. Makes sense. We're up by 1 on material. We have a bishop that we've captured. And they have captured a knight. And their king can't castle. That's pretty good. All right. They love that. They don't like that so much. But I'm going to be honest with you. C6 seems like one of those moves that's like you got to have a computer brain to understand it. So they like C6. I guess because if you do this, and then we take, They get a move. Let's see what their best move would be here. That. I was going to say, don't they probably like bishop to a6 next? Maybe putting some pressure on the diagonal? No, queen to b6. Okay. Looking at something like, hold on, queen to b6. Maybe they would play b3. No, they hate b3. Oh, because you would just take their queen. Yeah, that's a pretty good move. Yeah, all right. Anyway. That's not the way it went down, but... All right. We didn't play c6. We played the take, which I honestly thought was fine, but the computer hates it. I think that's okay. They want us to play c6 at all times. They think that's a good forcing move. They do not like this at all. That's kind of like a recurring theme. I think the computer is not going to like when you try to force like weird plays like this for the most part. Also, like the secondary thing is they really want us to play c6. So after we play b6, we can't really play c6, at least for a while. So they're like, what? And then they're like, okay, I see what you're going for. I see what you're going for now. Then they do that. Best move. We do that. Best move. Best move. Good move. They prefer just the straight up take though. What? Oh, they want the take so bad. I guess because they think we already have an advantage. Huge blunder. Oh, just take the pawn. Yeah, I really wish we had done something about that knight faster, but the game went fine. Although they do think white has an advantage here. Rook to d8 is a blunder. They wanted knight takes here. Actually, a great move. I was very concerned about like this because you think that they get your bishop for free with the queen. But then I was like, I'll just do this. And when if they tried to take me, I would just take their queen with my king. But I never even entered into my mind that they could do that and fork us. And then when we took, probably like this maybe, they would just take here. And that's a terrible position for the enemy queen to be. Anyway, that's how it could have gone, but it didn't. Now they think white still has a better position here. They hate that. I actually agree because I think our bishop is most powerful on this square. It's easiest to get there like this. But one of the other ways you can get there is by just taking their rook like this. And then you're like, I mean, it was pretty much over at this. This was a horrible move. Like knight to, or not knight to there. But that pawn move was truly horrendous. It was like a -8 point move. You just take them. All right. And then he resigns. That was a good game, though. They put up a heck of a fight. Except for that awful blunder. But, you know, I've been known to make some of those myself. All right. We'll be playing as the black pieces here today. No matter what, you play that. And then I'm like, I don't know what you do from this point onward. I think you play this. No, because you want to get this developed. They're clearly now like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. We can always play g6. Does all Twitch content make its way to YouTube? I would say at least like 75 to 100%. Some stuff like on New Year's Day we played Trackmania. I wasn't like a huge fan of that segment, so I didn't push that over. But like all the Sporkle stuff on a typical day, yes. The GOBR with Sin didn't make it. That's where you're wrong, kiddo. That's where you're wrong. We don't have to play bishop to g7 yet. I kind of want to fight for some control of the center. Like, I don't want to just give up the center. We have a problem with our knight, which is like, where are we going to put this son of a gun? You know what I mean? I think we can play e6 to open this bishop up, but also to create a place for this knight to go in the future. And then later we could always play b6 and put the bishop under it anyway. Otherwise, I guess we could play c6, d5, but that really leaves our knight quite hemmed in. And again, this is just like yet another lesson for why I actually need to like study openings. But I also feel like d6 is really good because it stops this knight from just outposting at e5. So I'm going to play that. That's my take. That's my take. You could probably become the #1 Grob player with a little bit of practice. Dude, I think if you could develop some tactics for the Grob, like if you could force... I'm a little worried about opening this diagonal up too much, even though they just closed it. But if you could get like some tricks going in the Grob, I think that it would be really funny to bust it out. Because at first people are going to be like, this guy's terrible. And then they're going to be like, what? I walked right into his trap. Like, that's the whole point of the Grob, is just to get your opponent to underestimate you, right? Okay, here's my take right now. I'm seeing 25 moves in the future. We play the bishop here. They do something, who cares? Probably this. They do this. Then we play our knight here. And you're like, what? You don't want to play the knight there because then they just do this. And you're like, yeah. Then they just do that. And then I do like this. Maybe. We'll think about it. And then my bishop's got like sweet control over this diagonal. So I think we start here. Yeah, so what did I tell you? Yeah, when I get some free time, dude, we gotta study some openings for sure. For sure. Particularly the Dutch, because I do really badly responding to d4. Okay, they probably won't push this for a while then. Here's what I'm concerned about. What if we did this, and then they do this? We'll probably just go here. Is that so bad? No, I think it gives us a nice little bit of control over the center. We could always just escalate on them as well. No, because we want to keep this closed for a minute, maybe. I don't know. Let's give it a try. Now that I think, I'm actually like, wait a minute. Take. We lose our castle. Not our rook. We lose our ability to castle. Or, alternatively, take, lose this pawn, but that castle's horrible, man. Okay, I think we're going to get ready to queenside castle, actually. Or we could kingside castle and just be legends. Okay, I'm running through a lot of stuff in the cerebral cortex right now. What if we did this? And just said, guess what? It's a gambit. They take. I think it's like 10 times worse. Remember what I say, you know, and I'm not sure if this is the best way to think about it. But remember what I always say is, if you made a mistake, it's better to just own it, I think, than to double down. And in this case, we're gonna own the fact that we can't castle. We're not gonna give up the pawn yet, because I love this control, but the knight, though? What about the knight? What do you mean? I don't understand. Why not take with the knight? Well, you can. I think it's also fine, but it leaves your pawn gets taken for nothing. Which might not be that bad, but, you know, it's not that good either. You could play the bishop up here, like bishop to d7, but, like, it makes it harder to connect our rooks. I gotta tell you, like, I'm almost just a fan of king e7, and then if they play this, I think we say to ourselves, good. Take, they take, it closes up the file. It does open their bishop up, unfortunately. And then we play knight here, and we're kind of like, you know, we're in on them a little. I think I like this. I think I'm okay with it, at least. It's not a good position. We are 3 minutes down as well, but it's all good. I thought the book report was really good content. Thank you. It was fun. I thought it was a fun time. So they're going to castle. 1,000% they're going to castle. I think we play... This feels like a situation where there's some pog-rich moves, don't get me wrong. This is basically just for the check, so it's going to fizzle as soon as they do that. I almost feel like we start doing, as Levy would say, like caveman-style pawn storm, but it's so slow. So probably, okay, I think step one, no matter what, you know the rook's going here. Like, that's a gimme. And then immediately you would get forked, actually, so you can't take anymore, which is fine, but we just have to know that. And we'll lose this pawn, but not the rook. This was a pretty bad move. Check. Yeah, check, take. Take. Pretty bad. Not great. If he does knight to d5, considering we're 3 minutes down, that's a bit of a problem. I suppose that's true. If he does knight to d5, we could swap with the bishop. Then he takes with the pawn. Then we get back in there. Yeah, we don't have to go knight to knight. We could give up the bishop pair. But even just that, like, walk through this with me. Yeah, he does that. We take with the bishop. He takes with the pawn. We move our knight, but now there's like double protection on this pawn, or double aggression, I should say, on this pawn, unfortunately. I still think, I mean, the other way we could play this, we could just give up a pawn here by moving to here, but then like I'm like, what if he does this? Then I'm forced to move back, and he gets this for free. So we got to be a couple moves ahead here. I definitely think you have to swap. Unfortunately. I wish we didn't have to. Then I think you recognize this pawn's under threat, but you're hoping maybe he tunnel visions on this pawn instead. Let's see how he reacts to that. What if you had pushed e5 there instead? I was in check. And really, the only way to get out of check when you're in check by a knight is to move your king or capture the piece. Because you can't put up like a blocker or anything. That's true. Bishop to a3 pins the knight. That's pretty bad. Then I guess we'll play a5 and... He can't really put extra danger on it right away. I think we'll be fine. Anyway, I'm not going to evaluate moves from chat. It seems like bad manners. Bad manners to my opponent, I should say. I'm interested to see how this goes from here. I think that bishop to a3 is the best. Which we'll have to respond here, because if we respond here, we just get taken en passant. Interesting. So a little piece of me is like, well, we can, you know, he stopped us from castling. Guess what? Now we stop you from castling. But then what do you do from there? What's your long-term game plan? Because you go here for check. He goes here, and you're like, oh, crap, my knight. You can go here, you can put him in check. He's going to take your knight. You could take this knight, but then his bishop will take you. It's not good. But maybe, like, You could do here and then back. Or you could do here and you could find a way to get your bishop involved. I'm trying to think, like, what's your end game here? Like, here's my thinking. I love that I think you've just pinned the knight to the bishop. I think we start here with this move. That way, this knight can't move unless it puts us in check without screwing over the bishop. The bishop can always pin us. We respond with this. And then they have to do something maybe here to protect this knight. Also, time's getting a little tight. So I think we start there. I think that's the take. I think that's the play. Let's see how he reacts. We don't have like an incredible time deficit right now. It could be better, it could be worse. Like 2 minutes, you could say we have half as much time. That's true. But 2 minutes is a time difference that we can either like make up or alternatively you could win on without time. You could just win by checkmate, but that's a little bit more ambitious at this point. Rook to d4, not a... Oh, that was a great move by him, honestly. Rook to d4 would not be good for our opponent because we would just check and fork the 2 pieces. But this is a good move for him. I didn't see this coming. Now I'm like, hold on. So he got a little extra material. Check forces him to go here. We don't have a follow-up move, but we have probably made his king less potent. Alternatively... Yeah, I like this move a lot. I might be wrong, and times are tight, but... And I know it's going to come up. You don't just immediately follow this by moving your knight to here, because then you just get taken. Okay, so with that in mind, we need to obviously get our rook to some degree of safety. And probably the best place for it is just here for now, because obviously this is a capture. Egg the pin. Am I losing it? Oh, actually, the fork would have been... Oh, that would have been fine. We would have just moved back. But the pin is horrible. The pin would make my dream come true right now. I would love to see it. Okay, we got to think about where we want our knight to be in the future. I think that locking down this bishop is very sensible. Oh, that's the play. That's the play. That hurts. That one hurts. Tom the Bob has disconnected. And the game will auto-resign in 50 seconds. I mean, this game is not going well, but it's not a huge loss right now. Like, our position is worse and we're down by material, but we're not grandmasters, you know? We're playing against a fellow 15-30. Like, it's... Trust me, I've let, dozens of games like this slip away. The game will auto-resign in 18 seconds. He's back. No, he's not back. The game will auto-resign in 9 seconds. I don't want to go down like this. Or go up like this. All right. Do you think it's possible he actually just got mad that he thought I would take the fork? And he just closed out of the browser rather than deal with it? I don't know. I'm guessing his internet probably went down. We didn't play a great game. And I'll tell you again, it's the same sticking point that it always is. I'll tell you exactly how this graph looks. It's going to be a positive slope for white for the whole game, but it's going to start on, like, move 5. Oh, well, no. Actually, it's, like, relatively even, and then enormous blunders. Well, maybe not enormous blunders because we had 0 blunders, but also 52% accuracy. Not great. Let's see. Dude, I'll tell you where it went wrong. This book is book. These are book moves. Playing the Queen's Knight variation. D6 is a book move. You love to see it. Still best moves. Still good. What do they want us to do? Oh, they want us to... Really? I guess that's not bad. No, sorry. What am I doing? I don't know what they would do next. That? All right. So they would force our hand. But I was thinking, like, what if they didn't do that? What if they did like this? Which is plausible. Then we would go into the center. If they took... You'd be like, it's kind of bad because we got this like doubled pawn structure here. But after we castle later, we have this sweet, succulent open file. It wouldn't be so bad. We would trade some position for activity, as they say. In the Dutch, castling is super important. Yeah, I think I've been, in my brain, I'm like, we never castle early because it's slow. Look at this, by the way. King captures, best move. Very validating. Fair enough. Not a good move. They actually preferred the bishop there. There's a huge mistake. But then they're like, come on, man. You got to do something with that. We were all a little slower on that one than we should have been, but that's fine. They're like, come on. What are you doing? Okay. What are you doing? And this is where the game ended, which is crazy. He resigned. Well, he... didn't really resign. I guess his internet went down, but kind of like a nothing game, but I'll take it either way. Dude, we've won 6 in a row on stream now, which is kind of crazy.